Faced with a global pandemic, an army of NHS workers stood in harm's way to protect us.
But for over a decade, we've faced a real terms pay cut.
GMB has been calling on the government to make sure those who have kept people safe throughout the pandemic are given pay justice.
But the government simply aren't listening to us.
These workers don't need a clap, a badge or even a snack box. They need a proper pay increase.
We need a simple commitment that NHS pay will never fall below a real living wage again.
It's not a lot to ask, but this could make a huge difference to thousands of us.
Please join the fight back.
Join our call
For pay justice
For all NHS workers.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We are streaming live from GMB offices all around the Midlands and East Coast region. We've just got Finn just appear on the screen there. How are you doing, Finn? Do you want to kick it off?
Good evening, everybody. It's really nice to be here. Thank you, Natalie, for saving us there. We had a slight technical glitch, which I'm sure went completely unnoticed by our members in the NHS. Tonight is just about having catch up with our GMB members working on the front line of the NHS. You'll all know that this pay ballot is ongoing. You'll all know our position as the GMB, but we want to make sure that we're out there talking to members at every opportunity about this ballot, about why it's vital, why your participation in it is absolutely essential, because we have to flex our muscles as the GMB and make sure that the government are listening to our members. We've got some great speakers tonight who are on the front line of this ballot. We've got Harry and Colin and Natalie all around GMB officers here in the Midland and East Coast region. Before we pass over, we're going to go through every aspect of this tonight. But just if you've got a question and you didn't manage to get it in advance, we've had quite a lot of questions through from members already. Just stick it in the chat box. I'll keep an eye on that. And at the end of the meeting, we'll come back and answer those questions one by one. You should have had your ballot already. Most people in the region have either had it in the workplace, online, by text, or in the post. And our officers tonight are going to talk you through all of those details. But if there's any questions at any point, stick it in the chat box. And as ever, just get in touch with the GMB. Just a quick note to say as well that we're going to be recording this tonight and sending this round to GMB members afterwards as well. But this is a Facebook Live. We're live on social media. So if you want to ask a question, just make sure you're doing it in a way that's appropriate for that. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Harry.
Hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Harry Harrison. I'm the lead officer for the NHS in our region. My colleague Colin Todd, who's on here tonight, he obviously leads for the ambulance sector. I'm not actually just introducing Colin, but I just didn't want everybody to think just totally leading on the NHS. So whether you've finished a long day or you've been on nights or you've logged on during your break, thank you for joining us this evening on the importance of casting your vote in the NHS ballot. It is hope, like Finbar's just set out, that most of you now will have received your and details of how to register your vote, and it's incredibly important. Later Finn will play a extremely powerful settings for the backdrop of the NHS pay ballot in the video. I think it's important from myself just to slightly touch on where we are with the NHS in its general. It's a great jewel in the crown, and 73 years ago, despite the war ravaged economy, we created the world's first universal service, the NHS as we know it. Now as our members battle this ongoing pandemic, we have millions on the waiting list, and our underpaid and our exhausted NHS members who place themselves in harm's way every day are still being thanked and applauded by this government, with many column inches being written and many interviews being said. But in reality, their 3% pay award comes nowhere near reflecting our members' true value. This award is both disrespectful and it falls well short of your expectations, what you've set us. We know, my colleagues and I, we absolutely know, and we're very assured to know that over the last 10 years, sorry, our long-serving members have seen their pay devalued, anything between 13% and 17% in real terms. During the past 10 years of this, can only be called the conservative, austerity. I hear every day, and I'm sure my colleagues will tell you the same, I hear every day how our members continue to make these extraordinary sacrifices, but that they are denied the pay rise they deserve. Throughout this pandemic, this government has time and time again chose to recognise friends, cronies, by awarding them multi-million-pound contracts, yet they have failed blatantly to recognise and restore pay justice for NHS key workers, our members, you. We've listened to our members. We have surveyed our members. We came, the GMB's national regional structures agreed the GMB's claim, which is the 15% increase or £2 an hour, whichever is the greatest. Our members mandated the GMB to fight for 15, and we will continue to do so. That is without doubt. What we're finding is with any percentage pay award, hence why the GMB wanted an hybrid model, why we wanted a percentage or £2 an hour, whichever is the greater, is this percentage award will still see those at the highest pay bands receiving more than £3,000 of the award, while those who chose, through choice, to remain on band 1, or the staff, new staff and old, on band 2, they will only receive approximately £540 a year. Our claim would have chose those differentials. We would have closed that ever-increasing gap in take-home pay. That is another reason to make sure you register your vote and you reject this claim pay award in the sense that we can achieve what the GMB set out to do. It is vital that we use this pay consultation to hear from members. We want to hear from members working in every role, every workplace, every pay band, and make sure we also understand, we hear and we understand that you are voting and registering your vote, which is obviously the importance is beyond words. We've spoke around and Finn spoke around how our members are being balloted, and we will, at the end of this meeting as well, we will put on screen how to contact the regional officers in each particular area if you have not received your pay, your details to ballot. Like I said, the importance of turnout and rejection is incredibly vital. If we want this government to listen, we've got to get this government to listen to you and your NHS colleagues. We know that since the last pay award, our members are still suffering negative consequences as a result. And vitally, the pay award that the GMB members rejected, and hopefully again will reject and come out in their numbers to cast their vote and make sure their voice is heard and they have their say on pay. We currently have inflation running at 3.9%. I would urge you all, if you have not already voted, vote now. Reject this award. By rejecting this award, not only do you send a powerful message to this government that you will simply not accept another below inflation pay rise, but you value your loyalty, your commitment, your dedication in providing essential care to the whole population. And if they will not recognise your self-worth, then it's time and obviously importance that you represent yourselves on that pay ballot. And by putting a cross in the right box, in the reject box, you will be valuing yourself greater than what this government are currently valuing you at. Demand respect. Do not delay. I would say to you all, have your say on pay again. Encourage your colleagues. Talk to them. Ask them if they voted. Talk to 5 colleagues. Try and get that word out. Ask them if they're voting. Why? Get them to join the GMB if they're not in the union, or if they're not, if they want to get that, or help us get that vote out. Thank you. What I will do now is hand you back to Finn Bob, who can introduce the next panel member.
Thanks, Harry. I think you're absolutely bang on there, mate, and I think you've outlined exactly the importance of turnout, because that's key about making sure members are aware of this. They're aware of their own power in the workplace and why these ballots really, really matter. I think we were going to hand over to Colin at that point, were we?
Cheers, Finn. Thanks, Harry, for leaving me very little to say. But I'll reiterate a few of the points that Harry's made. I'm the regional officer with responsibility for our members at East Midlands Ambulance Service, and I'm absolutely privileged to do this job and represent such a fantastic workforce, as the rest of the NHS are. But I've got a particular affinity with the members at EMAS, and hopefully there'll be a few of them watching this. But yeah, I mean, this offer, 3%, a few years ago, that might have been seen as something that was okay. But when you look at the rate of inflation, when you look at what's happened historically, and as Harry said as well, let's not forget GMB members and rejected the last pay offer because it was a smoke and mirrors award, trying to combine increments as well as a percentage award to make it look better than it was. They've not even tried to dress this one up. 3%, take it or leave it. I mean, it's pretty disgusting, really. I have so much respect for NHS members, and delighted there to be out there clapping the NHS staff, the ambulance service, and they're a credit. And 3% is what they get. The government are a shambles when it comes to that. And they'll hide behind the pay review body, say that it's them and it's not the government, it's the pay review body. We all know the reality is it's the pay review body does what it's recommended by the government. So let's not let that go through the media and be what it is, and let government ministers get away with that. So, as Harry said before, our claim, 15%, was to catch up over the years of the poor pay awards, below inflation pay awards. And then when it comes down to it, and we're in a pandemic, who do we depend on? The NHS, as well as some other key workers, but the NHS there at the forefront, looking after us, you know, through the COVID time and all that. And, you know, let's not be about the bush. I mean, it's not gone away. You know, we don't know what this winter's gonna have, and it'll be our NHS that will be there at the forefront. They deserve more than this. They absolutely do. Finn, if you could just put up the PowerPoint for me, please, because I just want to share with you the bulletin that has been sent out already. But if you haven't seen this, if you're not a member already, you might want to see this. So this was the bulletin that's gone out to GMB members in the NHS. As you can see, the government made their announcement about the pay offer, 15% or £2 an hour, because we want to look after both ends of the pay scale, is our claim. Also, just to touch on unsocial hours enhancements, was our claim for staff who are off sick, because it doesn't apply to everybody. Ambulance service, we've got two-tier workforce there in terms of we've got Annex 5 and Section 2, which is the last pay award designed to put a wedge between different members of staff. So new contracts only get Section 2 for their unsocial hours. So you know, this bulletin here shows us the what we've asked for. The National Advisory Group and National Ambulance Committee are recommending a vote to reject in the ballot. If you are a member, you should have had your ballot paper by now. If you haven't had your ballot paper, you need to let us know. You need to let us know as soon as you can. Either through the Lincoln office, you can telephone, or you can email. The details will be at the end. If you're an NHS worker, not in the ambulance service, the details will also be at the end. But you need to let us know if you haven't had your ballot paper, because we need to get this vote out and send a very, good message to the government that this is not acceptable, and our members will support all the way through this. Go to the next page, Finn, please. This is the pay bands in the NHS. So you'll see a band 1, what this 3% increase means in terms of hourly rate. So we're looking at 28 pence an hour for a band 1, you know, and if you're bottom of band 2 and middle of band 2, it's the same, 28 pence. Now, most people normally will just go straight to their band. This is why we've put this out. So whether you're a band 1 in the hospital, or whether you're a paramedic, or whether you're a technician or an ECA, you can see we've been very clear with you what this exactly means to you. And we want to make sure that you know exactly what it is you're voting for, so that if you've got any questions, we can try and answer them. So this is what we've put out. If you're not a member, I encourage you need to join now so you can have a vote, because this award is outrageous. If you can close that off now, Finn, that's fine. So cheers, Finn. That's Natalie's slide there, so you'll see that again in a minute. But my encouragement to you is vote if you're a member. If you're not a member, get joined and get your vote in. And if you are a member, get other people to join so they can have the vote. We need a strong voice to reject this diabolical offer, so we can move forward and force this government to pay the NHS a realistic pay award. So that's all from me in my spare bedroom. I'll hand you back over to Finn initially, who will hand over to Natalie. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Colin. I think I'll just go ahead and hand over to Natalie straight away, if you don't mind, Natalie.
Thank you. Hey, look, I'm sure loads of revolutions have started in somebody's spare bedroom, you know. Look, it's said all the time, colleagues, but this truly is a ballot of a lifetime. Our NHS members have had the toughest, most stressful year imaginable, and it's not since its inception has the NHS had the opportunity to show how intrinsic it is to our everyday lives and how much the people who risk theirs matter within our own society. But while society knows your worth, and it is way more than 28p an hour, the powers that govern your pay think that they can take advantage of your goodwill. Now you, our incredible union members, have the power and the position to change this. Your ballot paper is your voice, your opportunity and chance to show those in the position of power that you know your worth. Each GMB union NHS staff member has been sent a ballot paper. We have already received thousands back, but we still have thousands more still to arrive. If you haven't received your ballot paper, the contact details are on the screen, one for NHS, one for EMAS. If you have voted, please share this with your colleagues. We have got loads of resources in order for you to be able to spread the word about your pay ballot. It's all available on the GMB website, but Finbar's going to put some links out in the chat box there for you to be able to share. We've got Facebook notices to show when you have balloted, and we've got Facebook notices as well to show when you're there just supporting this really important ballot. You need to talk to your colleagues and tell them to join this momentous ballot and to join our campaign. If you are watching this and you're not an NHS staff member or a GMB member, or you're a GMB member who supported NHS staff last year by clapping every Thursday night, you can show your support now for this ballot. Now, as I just said, we've got social media posts for you to share, but you can also print them off and put them in your car windows. You can display them at home, but you can also sign our petition, which we are providing to government to show how strong the feeling is in support of our NHS staff. You can find all of this on our GMB website. Join our campaign for pay justice. Together, we have the power to show how important our NHS is to us, and our incredible GMB union members have the power and the position to change this. You told us over the last 12 months. Now it's time to tell them. We implore you to use your voice, reject this claim, and fight for pay justice.
Thanks very much, Natalie. I'm just going to quickly bring up the information about who you need to contact if you haven't already had your ballot paper. So every member in the region should now have been contacted either in the workplace, by a rep or by an officer, by text, by email, or if we haven't got those all important contact details for you, then in the post. If you haven't had your ballot paper yet, you can give us a call at GMB Midland and East Coast Regional Office on 015 960 7171. If you work in the NHS, you can also email adele.rice@gmb.org.uk. If you work for the East Midlands Ambulance Service, so those ambulance members that usually hear from Colin, you can drop an email over to vanessa.butcher@gmb.org.uk. And what I'll do, I'll stick those again in the chat box as well, so everybody can get those, and it's really easy to access. We've had a few questions come in, so if it's all right with everybody, I'll just go straight into that. We've had some really lovely comments on here. We've had Sharon saying that she hopes that this will encourage more GMB members to vote and reject this pay award because it's nowhere near what NHS workers deserve. And I think Sharon speaks for all of us when she says that. And thank you very much. There's a couple of questions coming as well, so I'll read them out. I'll cluster them into kind of themes, and then whoever wants to take them out, the three, that's the best way of doing it. So we've had a question in from a member in Lincolnshire saying, does the 3% or whatever the increase turns out to be apply to everyone working in the NHS? And does it apply to those employed by private contractors in the NHS? And then a similar question's come in from another member who hasn't said where they're from, but it's, I'm a porter working in an NHS hospital, but for a private company that isn't part of the NHS. Does this apply to me? So I'll hand over to you on that one, if that's all right, Harry.
Yes, thank you for that. And if it's the, I don't get to see the actual members in, but if it's Sharon Cook from Sherwood Forest Hospitals and carry on the great work and get everybody to phone, get them to vote and keep up the good work, Sharon, it's excellent bringing those numbers in. I think just on first of all on the question, and thank you for your questions as well, is what we have is that obviously this applies, this pay. What we're balloting on is for England only. It's not the devolved countries. So, and just need to make that point. So the people entitled to it would be the ones in England. And if you are on agenda for change, terms and conditions, and your contract is with the NHS, an NHS employer, and you benefit every year from the pay awards, then obviously you will be entitled to that payment. Unfortunately, if you work for a private contractor who's not an agenda for change terms and conditions, or you're in an only subsidiary company where they have not paid, then unfortunately you would not be entitled to that uplift. But let me assure you very much from the GMB nationally and the national officers, in heading the contractors are looking, and they are currently submitting claims to these employers to obviously ensure that they mirror what award colleagues you work alongside of every day. So for the porter, I understand, we're running a campaign at Sherwood Forest Hospital to end the inequality of pay. The question is an excellent question, and it's one the GMB very much recognise. It is time for all of us to end the two-tier system. What exists in the NHS? That is also a campaign we will always continue to fight. So I know it's unfair to work alongside a colleague who benefits from NHS terms and conditions. But let me assure you, you are not forgotten. This campaign will continue to ensure that that actually happens. For the ones who to be transferred on dynamic terms and conditions from the NHS to private contractors, then you would benefit from this uplift because it's dynamic. What I mean is sometimes employers you get to be transferred out, you would remain on what we call static, so those terms and conditions. So you will benefit from NHS terms and conditions such as annual leave, pay, sick pay. Unfortunately, you would not be entitled to the 3% award at this stage.
Can I just come in on that as well briefly, Harry? You explained it really well there. But ultimately, so many people, I think, like just in normal society, don't realise how the NHS is like made up in hospitals, and how many like smaller companies are in there that have taken over small contracts and cleaning contracts, etc. If there are any members out there that are watching and you are one of those, please get in touch with us. If you believe that you want to try and like get some sort of pay parity, there's a campaign there for that, and your union is there to help and assist you to build your organisation, to build your membership, so that you can go and take that fight on with your employer. Please get in touch with us at the Nottingham office. You'll get a call back with an officer, and we will have a conversation about how we can build a campaign to make that happen.
And thank you, Natalie, for just adding more weight to that. I just want to say something what I overlooked, and maybe to the porter. This is very important. What the campaign has shown when we're trying to end the inequality of pay. I received an email, and this is the hard work of, and I'll give my kudos to my colleague Sharon Cook at Sherwood Forest Hospitals, who absolutely fights day in, day out on behalf of our MediRest members. We got an email from the regional director and the national director that Compass, for people working for Compass, will be honouring the 3%. Obviously, the GMB are looking to reject and to obviously move that on. But what they've said at this point in time, we have evidence to show that, MediRest and Compass will honour the 3%. But that 3% will be on the basic salary and not on all the enhancements. So that is some achievement. That has been forced through, believe me, through GMB.
Thanks very much, both. We've had some lovely messages in. We've had Richard getting in touch, passing on his solidarity and saying that we need to spread this wider. Absolutely. Thank you, Richard. We've had Debashis, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but he's saying, keep on solidarity from GMB Hull #1. So absolutely. Thanks very much. We've had a couple of questions as well, so I'll fly on. We've had a member in Nottingham, or Nottinghamshire, sorry, so I'm assuming that's not Nottingham. If we vote no, will it lead to us going on strike? And if so, when? I don't know if you want to take that, Colin or Harry or Natalie.
I'll try and answer it. The first things first is to reject the offer, and that puts us. And if we have a strong rejection, that's why we want the vote out there. With strong rejection, then we can strongly go back and report back to the government that our members are not happy with this, they've rejected it, and try to bring them back to the table. That's what we want. No one wants industrial action. That is the last thing we want. What we want is a reasonable offer for our members, a decent offer that's above inflation. We're asking for the 15%. Get back round the table with us. So that's where we go. Ultimately, with any industrial dispute, you might end up at a stage where you're balloted on industrial action. At the moment, this is a consultative ballot. This is to get your views. This is to understand from our members, do you want to reject this? Tell us you want to reject it. We think you should. Well, it's up to you. You're the members. You make the decision. So we're saying to the members, do you want to reject this or do you want to accept it? Members all accept it, then that's it, because we're here to help you. We're here for you. But if the members reject it, as we're suggesting, then we will go back and try and get them back around the table. I'm not going to say timeframes for industrial action because we want to avoid that. We want to get them back around the table and put a better offer to our members so we can put it to you and try and resolve this amicably. Hopefully that's answered the question.
Lovely, thank you very much. We've had a few more nice messages coming in while you've been speaking. One from Austin Margaret saying, great work GMB, reject 3%, demand respect. Absolutely, solidarity, and thank you for the message. Another question come in, who should I contact if I haven't had my ballot paper yet? We've already covered that quite robustly, and I think we'll talk about it briefly at the end as well. So I'll move on from that one, but again, just reach out to the GMB anywhere, any rep, any officer will be able to help you. But give us a call at GMB Midland East Coast Regional Office on the numbers that we'll bring up at the end, or drop an email to those 2 email addresses. And again, I'll bring those up at the end just for the avoidance of doubt. And also, if we vote no, is there any chance we won't get a pay rise or that it could be lower than 3%? That's coming from a member in Leicestershire. So if we vote no, is there any chance we won't get a pay rise, or that it could be lower than 3%? Harry, Natalie, Colin, do you want to take that? Harry,
I'll do it.
Go on, Colin.
The government have announced that it will be backdated to the 1st of April, because that's the recommendation. So we reject the offer. There's no guarantee any additional money will be forthcoming, but it'll be a political decision made by the Prime Minister and Chancellor. It's unlikely that they would just take it off the table completely. It'd be highly unusual for that to happen. Anything to add, Harry?
Yeah, just one point on top of that, and excellently put as well. I just think what we need to just make us all aware here is that this government intend to impose this pay. So I don't believe that they will remove the offer to the gentleman what's called in. I think it's an excellent question. It's a really excellent question, because what that can create is a level of fear on people voting or rejecting. You have got every right, put that reject on that form if that's how strongly you feel about the insultive offer. They intend to pay, to impose, it's more of an award, and they intend to pose this in, I've heard some trustees say September, October, and then obviously backdated. So, so you register your vote, you put what you believe, as Colin rightly said. This is up to you, members. You feel so strongly. And if it's what Natalie, myself, Colin and Finn's hearing, we'll know. We'll be confident that you will register your vote, and hopefully we can, preempt what that, I guess that vote will be for. So there'll be no pay removed for that 3%. None of us can guarantee that, but with it being imposed, that would be my view.
Fantastic. Well, that's us at a half hour. We said we were going to try and keep it brief tonight. I think we could go on and talk about the NHS Pay Justice campaign that we're running all night. And our members are just so enthusiastic to send the government a really clear message that this just isn't good enough. If it wasn't for COVID, it wouldn't be good enough. But the year that we've had, the role that the NHS has played in our country in getting us through this pandemic is absolutely inexcusable. And anybody listening here tonight in the NHS, we are urging you to get out, use your voice and vote reject, because this is about our members' strength in workplaces across our region. So get out, use your vote and vote reject. Just to finish on this, if you haven't had your ballot paper, do get in touch. Look at your email, look at your text messages, check your junk box. You'll have had 2 or 3 emails or texts or visits already from the GMB on this. Please dig it out. And if you can't find it, I'll just bring this up. I hate to end on a PowerPoint slide, but there you go. Just drop us an email. If you work in EMAS for the East Midlands Ambulance Service, it's vanessa.butcher@gmb.org.uk. If you work for the NHS, it's adele.rice@gmb.org.uk, or give us a call on 0115 960 7171. Just reach out and we will make sure that you get that ballot paper before the deadline, which is the 17th of September. So unless anybody's got anything else to add, I think we'll end on that point. No? Grand.
All good here.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. I'm sure you'll see us before the end of the ballot, and make sure you get out, use your voice and vote reject.
Thank you all. Thank you all for attending. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Finbar.
Cheers, everyone.